This is Ruth Guthrie presenting a module on enterprise-wide information systems and ERP. In older organizations, and in some today, information systems were developed to support different functional areas. Accounting, payroll, sales, materials all had separate information systems to help them run their part of the organization. What they didn't have was a way to connect the information from one organization to the other. So if we look at the value chain, all the different activities bringing a product to market were done in near isolation. But the value chain is about looking at the relationships between these functions and making them better in the sense of faster or higher quality. Enterprise-wide information systems is all about integration. Once the information systems are integrated, managers have insight into not only their functional areas, but how their functional area is related to the rest of the organization. Integration is a great way to speed things up. Instead of having to massage the data sources to pick what data one system should share with the other, software was designed to make the separate systems communicate. The big three enterprise-wide information systems identified during this week are Enterprise Resource Planning, Supply Chain Management, and Customer Relationship Management. ERP integrates every department in an organization to support decision-making. It grew out of manufacturing and quickly became broader in focus because it was so useful. ERP keeps an integrated, consistent view of what is going on in a company. Certainly, having digital processes that track and forward things is far superior to separate or paper systems. It improves planning, reduces waste, reduces cycle time, and helps to have departments make adjustments when changes occur. Prior to 1990, the computer system helping us with warehousing and planning of raw materials was Manufacturing Resources Planning, or MRP. ERP grew out of MRP to include manufacturing and other enterprise-wide systems like financials and accounting. It provided an integrated way for people to view company data. Eventually, HR was included as well. As Y2K approached, many people adopted ERP systems because they were afraid their legacy or older systems would fail once Y2K hit. So, ERP was widely adopted in the late 1990s. What was Y2K? Y2K was a computer problem that people worried about with near hysteria. Most programs were coded a long time ago. At the time, for coding the year, say 1978, the programs were only set up to change the number 7, 8. The number 19 was hard-coded into the system, so it couldn't increase to 20 to accommodate the year 2000. Needless to say, many software consultants found work upgrading systems for Y2K. The media at the time was very panic-driven, predicting massive failures of companies and infrastructure. In the end, nothing really happened. But back to our topic, what does ERP do? Just about anything you can think of. ERP handles financials, human resources, and operations. It does accounts payable and receivable, accounting and financial reporting, risk management, regulatory compliance, cash flow monitoring, and travel management. Under human resources, it handles end-user maintenance, process management, reporting, labor force analysis, placement, recruitment and training, and talent management. Under operations, it handles procurement, logistics, sales and service, and operation analytics. But the real value of ERP is to tie these functions together. Before ERP, each department was relatively independent, using their own information systems and their own databases, the little cylinders again, to support their work effort. If someone from sales was selling a product, they might have only gotten monthly information about inventory and product availability. If someone in engineering or R&D was planning a new improved product, sales might have no insight at all into when it was being delivered and how to promote it to existing customers. In fact, to get the separate information systems to communicate was a very difficult and paper-driven process. With an integrated centralized ERP system, the flows of data and information between organizations is enhanced. If you fill out a purchase order for raw materials to build something, it is done electronically. There is a digital record that can be immediately posted and it cannot be lost. Further, it can tell you when the order will arrive and you can arrange for the accounting and payments to be made. In addition to handling all the exchanges of documentation, integrated ERP will handle financials, project management, workflow, sales, human resources, and logistics. It ties all the organizations together so that no one is operating in a silo with no information. Truly, computers are great enablers of integration. Vertical integration was a concept invented by Andrew Carnegie in the mid-1800s. Andrew Carnegie dominated the steel industry when America was building railroads across the country. Through mergers and acquisitions of suppliers, he managed to control the entire steel supply chain. This is termed vertical integration. Forward integration refers to how a company distributes its products. Backwards integration refers to how the company regulates its goods and supplies. This is related to ERP because ERP is an integration enabler. Vertical integration means that you are doing both forward and backwards integration. Having integrated systems reduces errors in that you only have one source for data, and it speeds things up because people do not have to run around to different departments to move things through business processes. Having one data source makes it possible for anyone involved in planning, production, and shipment of a product to easily gain access to information that helps them make decisions. ERP companies. These are the biggest vendors of ERP in the United States. Gartner Group said that SAP had 25% of the market share in 2011. SAP was founded in 1972 as Systemanalyse und Programmentwicklung, clearly a German company. It was later renamed something much more clear, Systeme Anwendungen Produkte in der Datenverarbeitung, systems, applications, and products in data processing. SAP is a very successful company worldwide. Other vendors include Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, and PeopleSoft, what we use here on campus. Here's a case study, Network Polymers, and they installed ERP, and this is how successful it made them. Network Polymers is a developer of thermoplastic resins and alloys. Their old systems consisted of several different databases and even spreadsheets that contained information that they'd have to translate between the existing computer systems and the spreadsheets on personal computers. So the problems that they faced were that their data was old and inaccurate, and they also had no integration of their bill of materials with manufacturing. Hard to run a profitable company if that's one of your problems. So in 2010, they implemented ERP to try to solve some of these problems, and it was very, very successful. It solved the inaccurate data problem, and it got rid of the problem with manufacturing and bill of materials. The employees were 50% more productive because they didn't have to spend time in meetings or solving problems or shuffling paper around. They also used 50% less paper than before ERP. They had better inventory stocking and used barcoding to do inventory. And they had quicker cycle times. So it really saved the company a lot of money and made them much more competitive. But not everything can be all good. This is an example of an ERP failure. The U.S. Air Force was implementing ERP for their Expeditionary Combat Support System. At the onset, this seems like a great idea. The military is enormous, and having ERP to help automate and standardize processes would seem like a slam dunk as far as saving money. It wasn't. It was described as an enormously complex task. It started in 2005, and the project had spent $1 billion by 2013 with nothing to show for it. It reportedly would take several $billion more to complete the project. The project was canceled and is currently under investigation. As a side note, it's interesting that in 2012, the U.S. government spent $81 billion on IT. In 2001, it spent $46 billion. Let's talk about the benefits of ERP. Integrated systems provide for improved efficiency and effectiveness of business processes. Since the different functional areas communicate their information, decisions can be made for the system instead of the individual areas. Things can move faster when they are automated through ERP. This improved efficiency, having fewer data entry points and control over how the data is entered, or even having barcoding, reduces the error rate, improving effectiveness. Costs are reduced because fewer manual processes exist and things are transferred electronically. This, in turn, reduces the labor needed to run the company. Ultimately, ERP assists companies by supporting better informed decisions. Challenges of ERP. ERP systems have a lot of power, but they can cost a lot to implement and maintain. Further, ERP is a complete package. Implementation efforts often require that firms redefine their processes to fit the software instead of building custom software to match their own processes. For many enterprise-wide systems, customization is an option, but it requires a lot of labor to define, implement, and evaluate the customization, and it may be creating a system that is more difficult to maintain. Customization is expensive. Future of ERP. I'd like to add one more thing before the end of this lecture. In a global economy, the supply chain and ERP can get very complex. One ERP system that is effective and efficient in one country may be highly inappropriate for another. For this reason, many global companies have what is called two-tier ERP. Effectively, they are running ERP for the corporate organization and another ERP system for all the subsidiaries. Mobile computing and social media integration is also identified in trade publications as being a big part in the future of ERP. Some people say ERP as we know it will go away. Instead, it will be offered as a cloud service by different vendors. Quiz time! Why is ERP so expensive? It's a large, complex system and requires a lot of experts to implement. It also requires lots of training for different organizations. Does ERP include CRM? Yes, often it does include CRM, customer relationship management, but it isn't always true. What's so great about integration? It speeds things up, reduces errors, creates one true source of data for people to interpret, and it gives access across organizations so that everybody can see the data. That's the end.